Hey y'all, haven't shown you an update on Nicholson for a little bit. Not on purpose, I've just been working on it and it's slow progress. Here we goes yeah, it's still a long list. Crossed out a couple more things. So if you look at the belly of the beast, we now have a Champs pan, oil pan, got a B&M transmission pan with a drain plug in her. Got the Moroso gasket in there. Got a Philpro one-piece gasket there. And then up front, we're starting to get somewhere. This is a cold case transmission cooler. That's installed now. Got that timing cover in. The water pump is, well, it's sitting there, but it's not really in yet. Replace the hose, replace the new nipple. I still have to, you can see I've drawn a line. Just, it's not perfect yet, but I got to cut it a little bit bigger. But that part of the firewall has to go away and a flat piece has to go in. My fabricating guy has not been available. So it gets to be me. Brake master cylinder is in and plugged in, tightened down, not leaking. Psych, it's leaking. Is it leaking? I don't know if it's leaking. Anyway, obviously Hydro Boost is in now, but lines aren't there because I don't have power steering yet. But the inner fenders, both of them are all painted up and finished. My brother-in-law actually said, man, is that radiator support new? I was like, no, dude. You sand a little bit and you paint, and it looks good. New lights. These are from LMC Truck. A whole new, this ground wire on the stock, what do you call it? Wiring harness for all the lights was the whole sheath had melted away because it had been spliced 6 times. I think 3 on this side and 3 on the other. And so there was too much amperage and this wire just wasn't big enough. This is a 10 gauge and it probably needed an 8 or a 6 based on how much amperage was going through everything. Anyway, I took out all those things. This is all new. Goes all the way back to the original junction box there. I resealed all of that junction box. My good old donkey with lights is no longer lit because there were speaker wires that were running all through here, in and out, weaved in. It was ugly. It was dangerous. You can see here, there's still a lot going on, but I've removed 4 wires from this that were unnecessary, that were hot and live, and I found them sparking and arcing behind the firewall. So they're gone. Anything dangerous is out at this point in time. Still got to replace the heater hoses. I've got them, but I need to replace those. This is the original fuel line. This has to come out. We're going to run new fuel lines coming in here. New battery ground, because this one was not doing so hot. Tranny lines, we're actually going to snip them off and flare them, probably right about here. And then I'm going to run them just barely up over here and then underneath. And it'll loop just barely under there. And then this is a, what do they call it? It's not a straight through, it's a circulation. So it'll go up one side and down the other. So it's double cooling basically is the way they describe it. So anyway, so that'll get hooked up. AC condenser there. We did actually get it. You can see where I marked it. So I did drill holes. It is ready. I had it mounted. And I got to pull it out, and you can see I've marked here. I've got to pop holes here for the lines to come through, and then I've got to build I've got some 16 gauge steel. I'm going to actually build custom L brackets for it, so it'll hang on this side. Once that's done, then we put the front support in. Can put the hood latch back together. Once that's all good, finish putting the front of the accessory, all the accessories back together on the front of the block. Jegs has been really, really good to me in this whole build. But so the timing marker that mounts here, it goes, so you can see the timing marks on the harmonic balancer. The holes weren't lined up. It's the first time Jegs has failed me. So I've got to send that back, and I've got to find one that'll actually work for it. Also, when I replaced the pan, the oil pan, put a new milling oil pump in there. I just did a stock one. I didn't do high volume because it's a stock. The valleys and the ports and the orifices and everything are so small that high volume is not going to make any difference on a stock 454. So that with the different, did a Champs pickup for this particular pan. This is an 8-quart pan. I bought a pan from Jegs that I thought was correct, and it turns out, to my knowledge, to my learning, that the 454 in a truck is a bigger pan by a quart than all the cars. So I actually got the Jegs pan, came in, going in there, didn't fit right. It was supposed to use the stock oil pickup. Wasn't working right, so I actually cut the baffle a little bit, put it back in there, and found out that I was actually hitting it. Then, because the baffle was gone, not gone, but smaller, I was hitting the front of the little, at the front of the pan. And then, of course, after I did all that is when I laid it down next to the stock pan and realized that the stock pan was definitely a bigger pan. So the Champs pan is an 8-quart, which I think that the stock pan is 8-quart based on its sizing. And yeah, so that's it. The other one that I learned, now, y'all know, I mean, you're watching the show. I do a lot of this stuff. We spend a lot of time working on rigs. I grew up around GM. I grew up around Oldsmobile. I grew up, seeing guys doing Fords and everything else like that. I didn't spend tons of time working on them. When the first cars that I ever restored and built engines and stuff like that, I built a 66 Volkswagen Beetle, hot rodded that, built a 1776 for it. It wasn't enough, so I actually had a guy build a 2-liter for me. And then in 1987, BMW 325i Cabrio, I built that engine from bottom up, and that was an awesome engine. But anyway, I did German for a few years on my own. Always worked on all my own rigs. I'm never afraid to attempt anything. But now that I'm back to GM, which is what I probably should have done all the time. I mean, when I was 17, I tried to buy I should have bought a 66 Chevelle, but I was trying to save my money for a Fox Body Mustang, and I never got the Mustang. And the Chevelle was cheaper than now. That same Chevelle, that would have been $3,500 back in 1992. Today would be 80 grand. So, you live and learn, right? Anyway, I learned the hard way. Listen, timing cover goes on before the oil pan goes on. Yep, that's the real rules. Timing cover, oil pan. I put this oil pan on 3 times. It's in. It's finally in and all the way in, and it looks nice. And we haven't fired it up, haven't run it to make sure I didn't get any leaks, but it is torqued to spec. It's everything. It's good. We should be good. Anyway, that's it for Nicholson for you. It's coming along really well. I'm hoping in the next 2 weeks to have this thing running. This week, the plan is drop both fuel tanks, put new fuel sending units in there, electric fuel sending units, fuel pumps, get the new lines run, get the relay wired in like we need to so we can switch between tanks. with the stock switch. There you go. There's your update for Nicholson. We're coming along. I haven't been recording. I probably need to. I keep forgetting that Mickey and I are doing a YouTube channel now. And Mickey's been right under here with me, hand to hand, most times. Yesterday, not yet. He was over with his grandparents, so I was doing it on my own. But yeah, so I'll make sure Mickey's in these, and I'll make sure to start recording now when I'm working on Nicholson to bring you up to speed and where we're at. All right, cool. Thanks. Have a good one. Like, subscribe, thumbs up, notification bell, all those things. That's what we need. We appreciate you. Have a good one. Bye.